The coroner's verdict was given today into the findings of the investigation into Keith Flint's death, the guy from The Prodigy who died in March. And it's inconclusive. A guy who was on record as being very depressed. The toxicology report said there was cocaine, codeine and vast amounts of alcohol in his system, and he hung himself. And the person in charge, or the people in charge, decided that, well, what they actually put in the blurb was it could have just been hijinks that went a bit wrong. It's amazing, isn't it? There's just sort of blanket fear of a word like suicide. You know, I don't know if there's more to it. I can't imagine there is, but inconclusive. I'd have thought it was pretty obvious, wouldn't you? You know, just in that situation, full stop. I know how people take drugs, and I know why they take them recreationally, but people haven't got codeine, cocaine and alcohol floating about in their system generally as a sort of average cocktail, shall we say. Yeah, just a weird moment, I think. I guess it doesn't matter what the authorities think, you know, it just is a bit of an odd one. Maybe it's just one of those taboos, you know. I don't know, just a bit odd. Anyway, I've got a very close friend who's talked to me recently, who said that he regularly thinks about suicide. And do you know what? In all honesty, so do I. But not from the point of view, it's not going to happen. But that feeling of being nearly 50, as my friend is, you know, I'll be 49 in a couple of months. It just gets to a point where you just think, I've seen it all. I can't be done with it anymore. You know, if it wasn't for my daughter, I find having that focus and her to look forward to, and the time that I share with her, you know, I've got a thing that's probably quite a good medication for me going on at this point in time. I spend a lot of time away from her, not like it was at the beginning of the year where I was 150 miles away from her. That was just that, you know, that would result in sometimes a month before I saw her again. But having these times, like over the last 24 hours, there have been a lot of tears. I've cried a lot. You know, a lot of what's happened is being processed very directly now. Times are changing. Who I am, what I am right now, is in my face. You know, I've got some people I'm close to here, but I'm a very solitary person, and I'm designed for one person. I'm not designed for mates and friends and the like. I'm really not. But yeah, I miss having somebody close. I freely admit it. But you know, if I'm honest, I wasn't really close on a sort of constant level with that person for a very long time. You know, emotionally, it never went anywhere. But you know, people drift apart who still love each other dearly. But now I have times anyway where, you know, Sunday night arrives, my daughter disappears off till Friday. And you know, for the first couple of days, I can feel very sad about it, and a lot of sort of memories from the recent past come to the surface. Then it gets to the point where it's Wednesday. I think it was only Thursday tomorrow. Then my daughter's coming Friday. You know, time sort of has meaning. I have focus, and I have something in the future that's always there to make me know and think there's something to look forward to. But with this friend of mine who's said that he has these suicidal thoughts, I think he feels much the same. I don't think he's I think that we all suffer with depression. But we had a conversation where he asked me, just said, do you think everybody's like this? And I had to think about it. And you know, I think in general human beings probably are, en masse, all inclined to be very, very depressed. But the way you process it is potentially, I don't know, got a lot to do with your emotional and spiritual and social intelligence. Is that a possibility? But people who are quite simple, who are the kind of people who are told at 16, you know, you're going to go and pack boxes, and you know, 40 years later they're having a retirement party from said box packing factory, you know, and they live their life as happily as you could imagine. But people are plagued with the sort of irritations of aging and you know, injustices in, I didn't get my wages this week, and I'm working here all these years and not particularly enjoying my life. And, you know, we've all heard those kind of bus stop conversations where people feel like that about life. But people who don't know any different, like, they can feel on a sort of quite inherent level it could be a bit better, but they're not bothered. You know, and it's no disrespect to that mindset. I'm very, very jealous of it. But is it possible that the whole of humanity as a default has, you know, with the way our system and our society has evolved, that it's there, but with some people they are so simplistic, and you know the type of people I mean. You know, you've got to be very careful that you're not being disrespectful about people. I'm really, really not trying to do that. But we've all known those people, and you know, it's old Graham, old Gina, lovely, salt of the earth, bit simple, maybe a bit simple. You know, we've all known those people, and it's no disrespect. But I find that the more intelligent, spiritually, socially, and emotionally intelligent people are, the more they are likely to be a complete and utter clown and a joker and the life and soul, but be masking a sadness and a pain and a lack of ability to fit into all this that makes their life a living hell. As I say, it just you know, I've not known many of the simpler people to be crippled with, you know, chronic illnesses like you know, the dark depression that some people feel. Anyway, all just thoughts, all just postulation, and you know, I'm more than willing to accept that I could be wrong. But there are a hell of a lot of people who are rational, sane, and not even overly suffering with sort of massive bouts of depression who do question what is the point of all this. You know, you get to a certain point in life, and you know, we probably biologically, you know, our society has evolved to keep us alive for longer and longer, but maybe our minds, once we get past, say, the 40 years old that would have died at sort of 200-300 years ago, maybe we're taking on too much, we go on for too long. You know, the sort of the holy grail of life maybe isn't it all that it's cracked up to be. Maybe the hardwiring of our brain actually wants us for what we can actually handle and what we can, you know, it's like putting too much information into a computer. You get to a point where its memory says no more. You know, I don't see why we would be any different, that we haven't got a certain point after our nominal amount of years that we're afforded, that you know, when it goes on, you know, the way our society has evolved into being very sanitary and we have health systems that look after us, maybe our brains just aren't cut out for the amount of years that we are now afforded. You know, I'm very interested in these subjects because, you know, it isn't at all a sensation of sadness or depression, but I do genuinely think, what's the point? What more can there possibly be? You know, I've seen all the wonders, I've seen all the sadness. Situations can still surprise you, but most outcomes don't these days with me. I just think, yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen that before, and I've seen that before, and I've seen that before, and I've seen you before, and I've seen that behaviour before, and I've seen them before. And it gets to a point where you start thinking, you know, there's the classic thing to say is there's got to be more, but it gets to a point in life where you think there isn't any more. You know, it's all very well when people say you can do whatever you want with your life, but there are financial constraints, physical constraints. You know, there are ties to people that are your blood relatives and the people that you love that make you can be anything you want to be a complete and utter crock of shit, you know, to put it bluntly. But yeah, I'm just fascinated by the whole subject of, you know, longevity, quality of life, depression, happiness. You know, I love coming across people who bring out my happy side, because I live with somebody now who brings out the clown in me, and it is so nice to see him. You know, it's like a different person, and it's a side of me that I take no credit for. That I've often said that I think that we channel information from more than just our five senses and everything like that. And when I get onto a roll and stuff, when I'm sort of being a complete and utter clown, it's almost like it's not me controlling it. It just seems to be sort of channeled to me, and it's as much of a sort of a surprise what's coming out of me to me as it is to other people. You know, you'd have to have seen me in that environment to understand it, and for me to go on about how hilariously funny I am. It's not for me to judge. You know, I'm just talking about the reactions I've got from people. Sorry if it can come across sometimes you know, that sort of perceived arrogance could be a very ugly thing. But sometimes when you're trying to explain things with just me and you at the other end of that camera to sort of form this relationship, it's very difficult not to have to walk into offering opinions on what you think you're capable of and who you think you are. You know, I'm sure you understand. Anyway, God bless, much love, and look after yourselves and look after each other.